Really quick announcement. We're starting a Dynasty Fantasy Football League, a viewer league. If you want to join, tweet at us at 3rd and 20 underscore on Twitter, or leave a comment if you're watching the video on YouTube. Like and subscribe as well. Thanks, guys.
3rd down and 20.
Let's go back to our boys, the Vikings, because this is a topic I'm surprised we really haven't covered an individual segment recently, and that is what is going on with Kirk Cousins. It's a scenario that I think if you play in Dynasty Fantasy Football, it's one of those ones where it's like you think that Kirk Cousins is basically just going to play out his contract and then leave. And, especially if you had that preconceived notion, you further it by the fact that they just spent a third-round pick 66 overall on Kellen Mond, almost a second-round pick. It's like, okay, clearly they're not in on Kirk Cousins to the point where they're not willing to take a Kellen Mond,
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of want to just come out here and say, I don't think the Vikings have a plan for quarterback. I really don't. I looked at it today, Steed, and I came to the conclusion that the Vikings are just living in the present. Obviously,
that's a good way to put it.
Obviously, the value lined up with the pick to pick up Kellen. I mean, I like Kellen Mond. I thought he should have went in the second round, so he slips out of the second round. Hey, go ahead, you take him. Because Kirk Cousins is not the most consistent guy. What if Kirk Cousins goes and instead of playing just the first half of the season like shit, like he did last year, he goes the entire season and plays like crap? Okay, then we at least have something. We're not completely out of the water, in the mud. And then, on the other hand, if Kellen Mond just happens to be one of the steals of the draft, well, shit, now we have two good quarterbacks. But also, they're living in the present in the fact that, well, what if Kirk Cousins is still just good? What if Kirk Cousins just plays good football like he has and is still just a good, that fringe top 10 kind of quarterback? That's fine. You have him under contract for another 2 years. You're chilling. I don't think they have a plan. And I don't think that's necessarily bad. I just think that they're looking at it from the perspective, hey, we got another guy. We're going to see what happens. Is a third-round pick. We had a second-round grade on him. Maybe it was an early second. Like, he just fell too far. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's fine. You're playing for upside. You have the chips. If Kirk Cousins doesn't pan out, you have a backup plan. If Kirk Cousins does pan out, then you only use the third-round pick. If Mond pans out, then you have two good ones. Like, I think it was a smart move, and I really don't think that the writing is on the wall for Kirk Cousins, nor is Kellen Mond going to be stuck.
No, I agree with you. I would say, first of all, they needed a backup quarterback, and to get someone like Kellen Mond, in the third round like that, you take him because you see the pro ability. Also, I think it's good for Kirk Cousins too because he is very, especially last year, he was very inconsistent. When the Vikings were just, started off 0-5, it was, it was pick city left and right, it seemed like, but like when they got going, Kirk Cousins threw 4 touchdowns, 300 yards. And it's like, okay, why haven't you been doing that all year? So I think if you throw a rookie who wants to prove himself and wants to be talked about in this quarterback class, it's going to put some pressure on Kirk Cousins. So I think it's going to not make or break Kirk Cousins, but like kind of put that fire back to where like your job security is not safe. Like, yeah, the contract says you're our guy and you are our guy, but like we need you to play like our guy. Like we can't have you. We're competing against Aaron Rodgers, right, for the division.
Exactly. That's the problem. Is that you need the elite.
We can't have you coming out. We can't have you coming out here playing like Jared Goff. Like we need 100%. We need you to play like a top 10. We need you like in some kind of Matt Ryan range. Like just be. You don't have to do Patrick Mahomes ungodly things because at the end of the day, you still have Dalvin Cook. You got Justin Jefferson. You got weapons around you. We just need you to play at some kind of consistent level.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like this organization is playing for upside. which is exactly what I think they needed to do with the situation and the cards that they were dealt. If you have a guy like Mond, who I'm sure that there were teams that might have had at least an early to mid second round grade on, possibly even very late first round. I am pretty sure of that there are definitely GMs. I think the Vikings are probably one of them, considering they didn't have a desperate need to spend high draft capital on a quarterback. Yeah, I think that they were in a position they needed to play for upside, and that upside could be a franchise quarterback. Dude, this is an organization, if you remember, that has really struggled to get that guy at the quarterback position. Kirk Cousins, he has been very good. He's probably been one of the better quarterbacks that the Vikings have had in recent years. It's just,
I mean, he's been the closest
he's
thing.
still not the guy. He's not that unquestioned quarterback for the next 3 years. And the Vikings have been looking for that for years. What if you just got that in the third round? And if not, it's just the third.
The crazy thing is, I was seeing this Vikings fan the other day. He posted a video. He's like, "All I know is pain," and he posts where Kirk Cousins throws that game-winning touchdown to Kyle Rudolph against the Saints. That was a push-off, by the way. And and then he's then he fast forwards to the 49ers game. And he's like, "Oh, and dude, you're telling me right now Kirk Cousins was going in there and beating the best team in the league that year? Hands down, no shot." The thing about I like the Vikings, but I like them only as a playoff team, and it's because I look at a guy like Kirk Cousins, and I can tell you right now and be like, "Dude, he can't win me a Super Bowl." I don't. It doesn't appeal to me. I think he's a good quarterback.
Maybe if you just get him on that stretch.
If you get him in a weird stretch like a Joe Flacco run the playoffs, but still, we haven't. This dude just got his first Monday night win of his career last year. You talk about primetime, Monday Night Football is the joke of primetime games during the regular season. I mean, I like Kirk Cousins. I do. I like him. But, at the end of the day, our whole goal is to win a World Series, a Super Bowl. So, that guy, he ain't it. Unless you've got, a 49er, a 2019 49ers built team, full team around him, and he's playing
He's,
good.
Right on the edge of Super Bowl winning caliber quarterbacks. Just because he is – most of the guys that you think can't do it, they can't do it because they just don't have that ability where it's you're down in a football game, we're going to hand you the football 55 times, you need to throw us out of here. Kirk Cousins can do that, which is crazy. Kirk Cousins on any given day can go out there and throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. But for as many of those as you get 150 yards and 3 picks. And it's just, if you get him hot, I really do think he can win a Super Bowl, but that's the problem, is that he's just not at that elite level. And that's what you need in the modern game nowadays. There's just too many insanely good quarterbacks.
Yeah, because talking about the tier he's in, I would put him around the same tier as Matt Ryan. But at least every Sunday when I watch Matt Ryan play, it's consistent. It's at least 200 yards, a couple touchdowns, and maybe a pick. And Kirk Cousins can go off and do better than that, but then he can play an Andy Dalton. It's just I just, if he was more consistent, then I could just kind of believe more in it. But I do think the Kellen move is good for him.
Because it's Kirk Cousins is 100% good enough that you're not going to actively look to replace him. He's good enough. He is. He's probably still, in terms of how he's going to play next year, a top half of the league quarterback. At the end of the day, he's going to be a top 15 quarterback.
Yeah.
Whether it's sexy or not, and whether it's inconsistent or not, he's going to put up those numbers. It's just he's only a top 15 quarterback. And to win the league, we've seen that you probably need at least a top 10 guy, or easily one of the most talented rosters in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
So interesting scenario there.
Unless like all their third round picks they've had in the last 2 years just turn out to be gems,
Yeah.
like they
Get a
just
couple
have
more Justin Jeffersons out there.
yeah, just have a Justin Jefferson fall in your lap again. I mean, I don't know. Kirk Cousins, he's always an interesting guy to like look at because it's just you see it. It's like the student that has potential in high school, but at the end of the day just doesn't care. It's like, dang, dude, like you
See, I
could
feel
be
like
like
he's the opposite. I feel like he's the type of guy where he's just not the smartest dude in the room, but he works so hard that he's able to compete with the smart guys in the classroom. It's just
yeah, I guess if you
the
want to talk about
natural, like
just on the
those
talent
kids that
side.
just like there's the other kids in the classroom that they just pick it up easier. They don't have to work as hard, and they're able to get
The
better
Patrick
results.
Mahomes.
Yeah, exactly. But Kirk Cousins is the type of dude that he works so hard and like has improved his game to the point where it's like he's able to compete with these guys. He's just not at that elite level.
I wonder if he threw Kirk Cousins on the Patriots, what would happen?
I think that'd
Like
be
if you
good. I
got
think him and McDaniels would work. Like I think Kirk Cousins is super slept on. I like him.
yeah, because
It's
like
just
if
you
you
need
were
a
just talking about hardworking people, like I always think about Brady, just talent wise. We can obviously like when I say talent wise, like I just think of like a Mahomes or Rodgers. Like you just see the talents like not on par with them, but like the work ethics there. I wonder if Kirk Cousins just had that like path. I don't know. Still though, he's a good enough quarterback to where you're a fringe playoff team and you can go on a run.
The thing is too though is that I think even if the Vikings don't extend him, that he has life post Vikings. I
Yeah,
really do think that if Kirk Cousins wants to, he can play for another 5 seasons in this league. Like,
yeah, I
and I
think
think
so
that he's
too.
being only credited for like 2 or 3 more.
Unless like every team just has that
There's gonna be
guy
a
at
team,
quarterback.
dude. There's gonna be a team. If Kirk Cousins is playing at the same level that he played last year, 3 years from now, and he's in free agency, there's gonna be a team that wants him as the starter.
I
100%.
mean, the Broncos would love him right now.
Yeah, the Broncos would be a team that's like, hell yeah. I mean, the Texans would probably take anyone. There are probably some high
I
schoolers
was
that
about
the
to say,
Texans would take.
I think the Texans might take me.
You know that
Like,
dude? You know that dude that with the long hair? That I see PFF tweeting
Throw
about him all the
God?
time. The new Patrick Mahomes guy. He just
Oh,
throws
that high
sidearm.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that guy.
Do you
Yeah.
think the Texans would take that dude if they could?
To play right if Deshaun doesn't play for him,
Well, yeah, assuming that Deshaun is out, like
well, you got to put people in the seats, so might as well. Because I'm telling you, if I was a Texans fan, I'm not going to a game just to see us get steamrolled by 40.
Yeah, but if they had that kid, they could see him Patrick Mahomes a couple stuff with his sidearm cannon.